All right, everybody. I am creating a video today to pretty much show you what I do when I go looking for new funds, whether that be private equity funds, hedge funds, maybe a little smaller of a fund. But either way, I typically always start in PropStream. PropStream is a great just data resource, easy to pull things from. So also easy to filter lists in. So this is usually where I start, and I've already done this multiple times, do it all the time. So I'm just kind of give you a breakdown of what I do and how I do it. And from start to finish, you will see how I find a fund, and you can pretty much copy this day one, of course, through PropStream. So we want to start in the filter tab. You'll see, Memphis is one of my main markets. It just happens to be nothing super special about it. I just kind of started there a while ago, and so I'm still there. We're going to pop into the filters. This is pretty much already made for me. It's something that I have ready to go, but I'll pretty much explain everything here. So, most funds, they do want minimum 3-bedroom, minimum 2-bath. So we just go ahead and type in both of those numbers real quick. Everything else, we're just gonna leave blank as funds do buy with multiple building size, lot size. Not many buy really, really old properties. So 1960 is typically where I put the marker for the earliest build that I want to look for. All this other stuff, we just kind of include it all. Not really a big issue. For here, we're also going to put on and off markets, listing type for sell for rent. Again, we're just looking for some fun names. So again, all this stuff does not really matter. Listed below market price, doesn't matter if it's listed or not listed. Pre-foreclosure, doesn't really matter. The next big filter is this one right here. So we want to pay attention to the owner type. We want to select corporate. That means that it's going to be a ownership name that has, LLC in it, right? That means it's a corporate owned property. Also mixed. So this can be a corporate name mixed with an individual's name or a trust name, but we do for sure want corporate select, and we can mix it with some other things here because that is going to pull up multiple names. Let's see, and that really, and I also do a minimum of 50 owned properties, right? Anything below 50, we're kind of dealing with your smaller mom and pop operation, maybe a smaller fund that they have going. No real max, although we know some of these funds own thousands and thousands of homes. Some of the medium-sized ones will, own hundreds to a couple thousand as well. So anything above 50 is a good marker for us. Everything else we kind of just leave as any, doesn't really impact us, don't really care. But this is going to lead us to a list here, and I do have this list ready to go already. And it's going to bring up a huge list, and you'll see owner last name. This is where if there's no true first or last name, they will put all these LLCs in the owner last name, and you'll see everything has LLC, or investments, Memphis, things of that sort. These are all going to be corporate owned properties. Now, just as a little marker point, I'm just going to take a random section of properties out of here, like anyone can do. And I'm going to export them into a Google file, which is very easy again, right? We can import list, export. Obviously, we would need to select these properties to be able to export. That we can do at any point. So again, just some random properties here. If we wanted to, we just start clicking some. Doesn't really matter. But the goal is to get some type of list going so we can start searching. And so That's going to bring us over to my spreadsheet that I do already have built here. Again, here's these LLC names, right? So one thing I want to stress is, how do we know the difference between a true fund, a true private equity fund or a true hedge fund, compared to, say, your small mom and pop LLC? As you know, in real estate, if you own a few homes, it's probably always a good idea to put it into an LLC, just so you do have some type of cloak or coverage, that can definitely help. So, you will see a lot of people that own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 homes have LLCs for their homes, or you'll see people that own 100, 200, 1,000, 5,000. They will have LLCs as well. And so, once we look at this little small list that we exported, we start to see some things that are, pretty the same, pretty consistent. So once we pull a list like this, we start to see some things that are consistent, right? You see a lot of abbreviations: FKH, AH4R, TN3, a lot of these kind of 3-4 letter abbreviations. And then we also see, something like this: Lomeli Investments LLC. That stands out as different from some of these FKH, SFR. You have these number numerals, right? 1, 5, the IV, the LII, things of that sort, right? A little different than that. Usually when you see SFR, it stands for single family rental. So usually that is a rental fund. If you see that, and you'll see kind of in these 4 properties, and I did highlight this one, FKH, if you don't know, First Key Homes, home, single family rental borrower. You'll see they have multiple LLCs in the same area, meaning most likely they have multiple homes, with the ownership name under, one of these LLCs. So my assumption is, here's another one, as well, right? This one, all the same buyer, but the difference is in that abbreviation right here. So I can guarantee you that each of these LLC holds a good number of properties. We'll also see the PFIN, V11, or however you want to say that. I believe that's PFIN 7 Memphis LLC, or MEM. So the next part of this is, what do I do with this LLC? Where can I take this? How do I figure out who to contact? So honestly, step number 1 for me is I just kind of copy something like this and plop it into Google, and kind of see what that brings me. So I am going to pop over to Google. See, I already plopped it here in Google. And this is interesting, sec.gov. And so usually that tells me that this is a document that this LLC had to file with the SEC, meaning that most likely it's a fund, right? Most likely a hedge fund, a private equity fund, and they have to apply their articles to stay compliant. All right, so this brings up a management agreement. So a management agreement is, within the SEC, an agreement that the board of directors have come to a management agreement on how to allocate funds, how to run the LLC, things of that sort. So we will literally just start going through, through this document to see if we can come across any information that, hey, maybe we are looking at a fund here. So all this stuff tends to be the same. I'm looking for some So this right here, this is a great indicator of what this LLC might be, right? So we're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 LLCs connected to this specific LLC, right? These are taxpayer ID numbers, meaning that they're all filing tax, most likely under the same agency agreement or agency filing. And then we look a little closer and we try to determine kind of what these might mean. So this one says MEM. That's the one that we did pull, MEM. And the property that we were looking for was in Memphis. So that tells me this portion of the LLC might be indicating the location of the property. And then if we move down here, STL, to me, that's going to mean St. Louis. So that means they probably buy in St. Louis. Kansas City, they probably buy in Kansas City. Tennessee, Missouri, right? So now we have found an LLC that's connected to all these other LLCs that seem to be in different states as well. So I don't think I'm wasting my time here now. The next part is, there's someone in this document that we can kind of reach out to. And so we're seeing Babyhood Properties. We're seeing some other Mississippi. I'll see they're in Mississippi, Delaware. That just tells me that they filed their company in Delaware. They tried to hide certain information. So anytime you see Delaware, it's most likely they're trying to hide some information because that's a non-disclosure state. But if we kind of keep, we're seeing some names here. So Dana Sprong, authorized signatory. So she's probably someone that's important here. Not seeing anything else, but let me scroll up. Again, here's the LLCs. Same LLCs. Oh, I do see something interesting over here. Feinberg Homes Operating Partnership, if to owner. So that tells me most likely the owner of these properties, Feinberg Homes. What else are we seeing here? Manager. So who's managing these properties? Feinberg Homes again. So this could be a self-managed fund. And here's that Dana Sprong person again at FeinbergHomes.com and Ryan McGarry at FeinbergHomes.com. Now, there's other ways to come across these people's names, but sometimes you don't always get their email address, right? And so now we know that anyone that works at Feinberg Homes, it's going to be first name, period, last name at Feinberg Homes. So if you go to LinkedIn or something like that, or if you come across someone that works for Feinberg somewhere in some article or something like that, most likely their email address is first name, period, last name at FeinbergHomes.com. So let's go ahead and take that address again. I just want to check one thing. Let's go back to our sheet here. So again, I am going to grab this address, copy it, take it over to Zillow, see what I see here. So I'm going to click on the address. That's the correct address. And then you'll see, after I put the address in, all of a sudden the pictures of the home come up. There's that name again, Feinberg Homes, right? So that tells me, yes, they're definitely managing the property. The ownership agreement tells me that they own the property just because that LLC was under Feinberg Homes on that operating agreement. From here, the next step is really, reaching out with an email, right? So you can take that Dana Names email straight, shoot her an email just saying, you work in this area. You came across their property, maybe even a property that you looked at, wanted to buy, but for whatever reason, they were able to buy it before you could. But hey, you're looking for more properties in the area and you have some inventory that you would like to send their way. And if, hey, do they have a buy box or do they have some information they can send your way so that what they're buying? That's why Yeah, I think PropStream is a great resource for this type of thing, right? When you learn how to use the filters, you can really get down to the data that you need. You can then pull out that data and start searching for stuff just like I showed you. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. It really comes down to your filters, really just pressing that corporate button and exporting a little bit of data, and then Google's a great resource as always, and then you can kind of double and triple check yourself. As just so you know, this is how I have found a good number of funds. Whether that being private equity, again, hedge funds. This is a great way to do it. And so if you have any questions, please reach out, put them in the comments, and see you in the next video.